Hello and welcome to the Inspired Life channel, your one-stop place for personal growth and transformation. We're about to embark on a fascinating journey into the realm of habits. We'll uncover the science behind why we do what we do and delve into the intricate workings of our minds. Why habits, you ask? Well, they shape our lives more than we realize, steering us towards success or failure. Without further ado, let's dive into the fascinating science of habit formation. Habit formation is a fascinating process happening right inside our brains. It's like a superhighway being built brick by brick each time we repeat an action. This process, known as neuroplasticity, is the brain's incredible ability to change and adapt as a result of our experiences. It's how we learn to ride a bike, play an instrument, or even tie our shoelaces. So how do habits form? Imagine you're driving down a country road. The first time you travel, the journey might be slow and difficult. You're navigating unfamiliar terrain, maybe even dealing with a few potholes. But each time you drive down that road, your journey becomes a bit easier. You learn to avoid the potholes, and you start to recognize landmarks. Just like that road, when you perform an action for the first time, your brain has to work hard to process all the new information. But each time you repeat that action, your brain starts to recognize the pattern. It begins to streamline the process, creating a neural pathway. This pathway is like a shortcut for your brain, allowing it to perform the same action more efficiently each time. But here's the real kicker. The more often you travel down that pathway, the wider and more well-traveled it becomes. It's like turning a dirt road into a 4-lane highway. This is why habits, once formed, can be so hard to break. They've essentially become the path of least resistance for your brain. And it's not just about repetition. Emotions and rewards play a crucial role too. When an action makes us feel good or we receive some sort of reward, our brain releases a chemical called dopamine. This dopamine hit reinforces the neural pathway, making it even stronger. And that's how a simple repeated action can turn into a deeply ingrained habit. So whether it's brushing your teeth before bed or reaching for that mid-afternoon snack, remember, you're not just performing an action, you're building a highway in your brain. In essence, the more we perform a certain action, the stronger these neural pathways become, turning these actions into habits. At the core of habit formation lies the habit loop. This loop is a 3-part process comprising the cue, the routine, and the reward. Each part plays a crucial role in how habits are formed, maintained, and can be changed. Let's start with the cue. This is essentially a trigger that initiates the habit. It could be anything from a time of day, a location, a certain emotional state, or even the presence of specific people. The cue is the event that kickstarts the habit loop. For instance, the smell of coffee brewing might be your cue to start your morning routine. Next in the loop is the routine. This is the actual behavior that we usually think of as the habit itself. It's what you do after you encounter the cue. So if the smell of coffee is your cue, your routine might be to go to the kitchen, pour yourself a cup, and sit down to read the news. The routine is the action you automatically take in response to the cue. Finally, we have the reward. This is what your brain gets out of the habit. It's the payoff that helps to reinforce the habit loop. In our coffee example, the reward might be the feeling of warmth and comfort from the hot drink, or the burst of energy from the caffeine. The reward provides a kind of satisfaction that your brain craves, leading it to repeat the routine in the future when the same cue is encountered. So to summarize, the habit loop works like this. A cue triggers a routine, and the routine leads to a reward. This reward then strengthens the association between the cue and the routine, making it more likely that the same response will occur the next time the cue is encountered. Understanding the habit loop is the first step towards managing our habits effectively. Once you can identify the cues, routines, and rewards in your own life, you can begin to influence them and ultimately change your habits for the better. Not all habits are created equal. Some can propel us towards success, while others can pull us back. Habits, in essence, are patterns of behavior that we perform almost automatically. They're the brain's way of saving energy. Now, good habits like regular exercise or maintaining a balanced diet can have a profound positive impact on our lives. They can boost our health, enhance our productivity, and even improve our mood. On the flip side, bad habits, such as procrastination or overindulgence in unhealthy foods, can hinder our progress and negatively affect our well-being. They're often the result of instant gratification, where the immediate pleasure or relief outweighs the long-term consequences. But here's the kicker. Both good and bad habits use the same neural pathways. They're both formed through repetition and reinforcement. So the same mechanism that allows us to adopt healthy routines can also trap us in harmful cycles. The key is to encourage the formation of good habits and discourage the bad ones. So how can we form new beneficial habits? Well, it begins with setting clear and achievable goals. Be specific about what you want to achieve and why. This gives your new habit a purpose and makes it more meaningful. Next, take small steps. You don't have to completely overhaul your life overnight. In fact, it's often more effective to start small and gradually build up. If you want to start exercising, for instance, you might begin by taking a short walk every day, gradually increasing the distance and intensity over time. Maintaining consistency is also key. Make your new habit a regular part of your daily routine. The more frequently you perform the habit, the stronger it becomes in your brain, and the easier it gets. And finally, be patient with yourself. Changing behavior is not easy. It's normal to have setbacks, but don't let them discourage you. Keep going. Remember, forming a new habit takes time and patience, but the rewards are worth it. Breaking bad habits is just as important as forming good ones. You see, habits are deeply ingrained in our brains. They are the result of repeated actions and behaviors, which means, in order to break a bad habit, we need to disrupt that cycle. The first step is identifying your triggers. What prompts you to engage in the unwanted behavior? Once you've pinpointed the trigger, you can work on creating a new response. Replace that bad habit with a positive one. If you're trying to quit smoking, for instance, you might take up a hobby that keeps your hands busy, like knitting or drawing. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. Seek support when you need it. Reach out to friends, family, or a professional counselor. They can provide the encouragement and accountability you need to stay on track. Breaking a bad habit is a challenge, but with determination and the right strategies, it is absolutely doable. To wrap up, understanding and managing our habits is crucial for personal growth and success. We've explored the science of habit formation, delved into the habit loop, and examined the neuroscience behind it all. We've differentiated between good and bad habits, and offered tips on forming new positive ones while breaking undesirable ones. The role of motivation, willpower, and environmental triggers in this journey cannot be underestimated. Thank you for joining us today on Inspired Life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more inspiring content. Until next time, keep growing and keep inspiring.